and welcome to the London Irish Centre here in Camden, London. Scott Morflick's White Collar Boxing London proudly presents an evening of white collar boxing action. Ladies and gentlemen, the fighters you will see this evening have worked extremely hard to be here. Most have only been boxing for a mere 10 weeks in total, some a little bit longer. So please be very generous with your support and applause. And we don't want to hear any booing. If you think you can do better or you're inspired by what you see here this evening, check out our website, www.whitecollarboxinglondon.com, and you too can sign up for future events. Ladies and gentlemen, your officials for the evening are timekeeper at the bell, Mr. Peter Lowe, and your head judge and referee in charge of the action when it gets underway is Mr. Seamus Gunn. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, Camden, are you ready to be entertained? It's a good energy, but I know we can do better. One more time, ladies and gentlemen. Camden, are you ready to be entertained? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the WCBL's Honor and Glory! Without any further ado, let's introduce you to the fighters who will be boxing out of the red corner this evening. Stuart Laming, Paul Cleary, and Matt Caspel. For a very special little girl. Little Johnny is bravely battling a rare bone cancer for the second time, and we are desperately trying to raise enough money to send her to the USA for specialist treatment. Let me introduce you to my hero, and it should be yours. Can we get little Johnny to the ring, please? A massive round of applause. You can find out more about Johnny's cause on the back of your programs tonight, and also details on how to donate money at www.gofundme.com/for the love of Joni. People will be circulating the room with a big collection bucket later on. So I would ask you, we at the WCBL would ask you to please give generously. All the proceeds will be given to Joni to send her away for specialist treatment. I think you can all agree with me, it's a very good cause indeed, and I'd like to thank you in advance for your generosity this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, a big round of applause for our hero, little Johnny! Now, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let's get the action underway! And now, please welcome firstly to the red corner, from Raynham, Dirty Dave Clark!
Well, a very warm welcome from the London Irish Centre here in Camden Square. Chris Lloyd ringside, alongside me, Matthew Walker. And Matthew, as always, this Friday night crowd are in full voice and they never disappoint.
Absolutely, as always, the London Irish are absolutely buzzing for the second Friday in a row, actually.
How does this compare? I know you've worked at a couple of other white collar events. Is it the best crowd that you've seen in the events that you worked on?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things, this event has been growing and growing over the last 12 months now, really, and it's just getting to the absolute peak. It's just such a great night, and yeah, I think all the players have been pretty pumped tonight.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you alongside me, commentate. It's going to be a lot of fun, and if you are watching this on the DVD at home and you fancy getting involved, you can head to the website www.whitecollarboxinglondon.com to find out more. This weekend, the first double header of 2015, Honour and Glory, presented to you by White Collar Boxing London. Friday the 20th of March 2015, Friday the 13th it was last week. Unlucky for some, lucky for the other half. And of course, Matthew, one of the things that a lot of people don't realise when people watch this is that 10 weeks ago, many of the contestants that we'll see in the ring tonight hadn't even laced up a pair of gloves, let alone step through the ropes in front of nearly 1,000 people. I mean, that must be some feat of achievement in your life to get out and get to the ring.
They've not picked up a pair of gloves or stepped in the ring ever, and this is the first time you're doing it. Hats off, it's a daunting task. I spoke to most of the fighters, probably we started tonight. Everyone seems up for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this WCBL Women's Panel will be contested.
What do you reckon then? A few months time, you and me put the head guards on and get in the ring?
Yeah, I'll hold it that.
I'm only joking. Who would commentate? I don't know who would have.
Please give a warm welcome to Dirty Dave Clark!
So in the red corner, we've got Dave Clark, Dirty Dave Clark, in fact.
And across the ring, fighting out of the
Corner man, midday to Dave
He's from Hornsey in North London. Please welcome Charlie Razor Ralton!
I spoke to Charlie Razor Ralton in the blue corner before we started. Actually, Charlie was supposed to fight about November last year, and he suffered from a knee injury. So he did start the training previously, but this is his first fight out. As our MC just said, he is from Hornsey, born in Hackney originally, and both of these gents, it's their first fight.
Of course, it is a sport that can expose a dodgy knee or two, a lot of lateral movement, a lot of stepping in and out of range, and it'd be interesting to see if that knee is fully healed and Charlie Ralton is able to go the full 3 rounds without any problems. So like the referee is bringing the fighters to the middle for their final instructions. Most of all, it'll be give us a good clean fight, no hitting below the belt, just of course the white strap in the middle of the waist. And we are away here in round 1, as always, a fast start. I think a lot of that, Matthew, as we see the first knockdown of the fight. Will it be ruled a knockdown? It is. And of course, it's so much nervous energy that goes into this whole evening. These boxes are a big 3 or 4 hour build up, and it all just comes out in the first 30 seconds.
Absolutely, we're stepping out from this crowd. There's so many thousands of people still here. You've never been in a ring before. Tensions are high, and as you can see, both fighters straight out the blocks. Technique absolutely nowhere.
Wow. Both men really firing on all cylinders. 1 knockdown scored already, and of course these fights scored at a 10-point must system, which means the winner of each round will score 10 points no matter what. The loser of each round will be given 9 points, but each point deducted for a knockdown. So at the moment, this will be a 10-8 round. Nice shot there, and from Dave Clark again. Speaking just before the fight, saying in the build-up, these boxers learn so much technique, they learn how to breathe, they learn how to move, how to hold themselves, but on an occasion like this, when you're not used to the pressure, you're not used to the crowd and lights, technique can go out the window, and you do see a kind of classic windmill, and it turns into a bit of a bar brawl at times. I guess for our boxers, one of the most important things is to try and learn to relax into boxing. You see them settle in the second and the third round, and later on in these fights.
Yeah, it's like we were saying earlier, that nervous energy. It's down to the story. It's quite a lively start. I think you can hear the crowd really getting behind both fighters. I think this will really start to settle in as rounds 2 and 3 settle in.
At the end of the first round, met with huge reception by this crowd. A knockdown already in the first 30 seconds. Michael Watson just never fails to disappoint. It's all atmosphere and excitement in the ring. And it's just a good way to start the weekend, isn't it, as well? I mean, you go to a lot of professional boxing events where there are more people than there are here. There's nowhere near the amount of noise that is generated by these, what, 800 people?
Oh, no, nowhere near. And it is because everyone, 9 times out of 10, everyone in the crowd is supporting somebody.
Yeah, I suppose they've got a specific emotional connection with each boxer. There we go, round number 2. Dave Clark in the red corner, Charlie Ralton in the blue.
Round 2.
Charlie Ralton already down once in the first round, so he'll be looking to get himself back into this. It's a faster start from the man in blue. He's just caught on the counter with a straight right hand from David Clark. I think one of the things you find technically as well is that some of these guys often end up squaring their feet up a little bit too much. You just see Charlie Rowton doing it there, just turning his feet square on, and the obvious thing that that does is present a much wider target for the opponent to hit, whereas the more side on you are, the less of your body is there for the hit. And that's something that these guys need to remember. Turning face on, although they might feel like it's a better position to land shots, and also a lot easier to hit. These guys absolutely trading blows, and you can already see the fatigue, and again, it's got to be the adrenaline, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. This fight's really starting to settle in now. That nervous energy starting to peter out. Both fighters are going to get tired.
It must seem like an incredibly long couple of minutes in there. I mean, it does sound like not very much at all, 3 2-minute rounds. Once you're in there, the adrenaline's pumping, you've got a man in front of you trying to swing at you. It's got to really seem like a long time in there for these guys.
Yeah, we were both saying before the fight, 2 minutes in an everyday situation is passes in the blink of an eye. 2 minutes in that ring must feel like an absolute lifetime.
So I think we'll see in the third round, maybe so much a test of fitness, but a test of wills between Dave Clark and Charlie Rowton, as Rowton just lands a straight right hand on the belt. Second round down, and from what you've seen there, do you think Charlie Rowton did enough to get himself back into the round? Of course, just the point from the knockdown in the first round. Where do you think we're looking at the moment in terms of these two?
Yeah, it's always hard to come back from a knockdown, particularly so early on in the fight. But he had a good second round. You can probably hear the crowd behind us. The fight is not the only thing getting the adrenaline pumping tonight.
I know the Spearmint Rhino girls, and always doing a great job whipping up the action as if they needed it. Amazing as well to see the transformation that a lot of these guys go through. You may have seen on the website and on Facebook the mini documentary series that we put out covering some of their progress when they very first started this training camp, and just physically seeing some of the guys tonight. I've seen them for 6 or 7 weeks and they look noticeably fitter, noticeably more muscular, and I suppose after tonight it's amazing that the impact that this sort of lifestyle change can actually have on people.
Yeah, definitely. And when you're training with people who have a similar mindset as well, all the fighters push each other, which is great. It's a fabulous thing to see.
So third and final round. David Clark in the red corner, Charlie Rowton in the blue. This uppercut on the inside and a right hand landed by David Clark. Rowton determined to give as good as he's getting. He just pushed the man in red into the corner. He tries to take a breather with his arms on the ropes there. Not sure that's the best idea, but he's really out on his feet here. And Charlie Rowton trying to rally. With that knockdown scored by Clark in the first round, Rowton really would need to win 2 consecutive rounds to take this fight to a possible draw. The referee just sends Clark to the neutral corner, and looks like a welcome rest for the man in red. His mouth guard is out and he's looking like he's at the brink. Very tired indeed. So Rowton has the head guard adjusted and we're good to go again. A nice straight right, left hook landed by Clark. Rowton's taking it well, coming straight back. Right to the body, just told to keep that one up by the referee. Remember the belt line is the lowest point you can hit, no lower. As we were saying earlier as well, you can really see that fatigue start to kick in this third round now. Of course the feet start to plant, the hands start to drop. Both men really open for the shot. Squared up feet. Railton now back against the ropes. And again, a real lesson for anybody watching who does want to take as many tips as possible going into their first ever white collar boxing fight. Try not to take it all out of yourself in the first minute, because you will suffer in the last, as we're seeing there with David Clark, who crouches down in the corner and will be wondering whether he's done enough and whether that knockdown will have secured him victory. What are your thoughts, Matthew? Any ideas?
Hard to call at this stage. I would say though, both fighters, what a great opener.
Always seems to be a great opener, to be honest with you. I've never ever watched a first fight and have disappointed, and I think that must be because everybody comes in to fight first and I've got to put fireworks on.
Yeah, and it's anticipation thing. They were both in the dressing room for the start, the build-up, the atmosphere in there. You know, one day we'll do that first fight straight out of the blocks. It's such a fabulous atmosphere back in the dressing room. You couldn't help but not to.
Talking to a couple of the guys earlier, one of the chaps who's fighting last on the bill tonight, I was just saying, is it better or worse to go first or last? I mean, I think going first, you have the horrible anticipation of having to set the standard, but going last, you've got an awful long wait.
I think the hard thing as well is that back in the dressing room before the hour before we kick things off, the atmosphere and everyone getting pumped up. You have to then sit backstage for the next 2.5 hours and keep that adrenaline going. It's hard, and it's mentally tough as
well. Living proof that a knockdown doesn't have to be the be-all and end-all, even over just 3 rounds. And Charlie Railton on a fantastic display after getting dropped early in the first, and come back and take a very close decision over David Clark on points, and a good show from him.
Yeah, there it is. I'm going to love you and leave him. I'm going to have a word with the man himself in the ring.
Charlie, there he is. Congratulations, mate. How on earth did that feel?
Tired, man. I'm tired. Good.
I think one of the listen, we had a chat before the fight this evening, and you were saying you were due to do this last year, but you suffered from an injury, is that right?
I came off the motorcycle, my knees wrapped around and
So how's it feel to finally be in the ring, not only be in the ring, but to win as well? How's that feel?
it feels good, it feels good. It was a tough fight, you know, it was a big shots there. It was a tough call.
Fantastic. Well, listen, thank you very much indeed. Once again, a massive round of applause to Charlie Razor Railton.
And now for our next bout of the evening, please welcome to the red corner from Northolt, Thiago Barroso.
Here we are, so second fight of the night, and in the red corner we've got Thiago Barroso. So again, both of these fighters, it is their first fight. I spoke to Thiago before we kicked off, and his inspiration was that he wanted to get fit. He's a mechanic from North London, and he, in his spare time, works and trains, so should be fully prepared for tonight's bout.
I think that is the case with a lot of people. They take up the training camp, not always sure whether they want to fight at the end of it, but I think once they get the boxing bug, as they call it, people end up thinking, well, why not? And actually, sure, once the nerves have subsided, they've got fight night out of the way, you do get a lot of, I was going to say repeat offenders then, but you do get a lot of returning contestants. We'll see a couple later on tonight. And Thiago Barroso's opponent in the blue corner, Rick the Mongrel Williams.
Yeah, again, I spoke to Rick before we started tonight. Rick is a creative solutions director. It's his second fight, his first one was 4 years ago. And his reason for tonight was that he wants to tell his kids that he is undefeated in the ring. So we'll see how that pans out for him.
Right, so 4-year gap between fights then. That's a big gap.
Yeah, big gap. Apparently he did his first fight, he loved it. It was a draw, his first fight apparently. So he wasn't defeated, but he also wasn't a winner, sadly. But yeah, we'll see how he gets on tonight. I spoke to both fighters before we started. They both seem quite pumped for tonight. And in all honesty, why wouldn't they win?
Peace hello. I'll ring announcer, as always, doing a sterling job of calling the fighters into the ring, whipping the crowd up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this WCBL rules bout will be contested over 3 2-minute rounds. Introducing to you firstly, fighting out of the red corner. He's from the slums of Northolt. Please welcome Tiago Barroso. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes all the way from Australia. Please make some noise for Rick
So the referee bringing the fighters to the middle for their final instructions. Tiago Barroso, all in black with the red helmet and the red gloves. And Rick Williams in the blue corner, wearing all blue with the black boots. Bell, the first round sounds. Rick Williams circling to his left, just pours out that jab. A little bit out of range at the moment, slightly shorter of the two men. Maybe be looking to get on the inside. Barroso early with 2 nice right hands. Williams certainly the aggressor, comes in with a couple of uppercuts blocked, but he's on the offensive. He slips under the oncoming right from Barroso. Good start from the man in blue, takes the centre of the ring. He's keen to make himself the boss early in this fight.
Again, we're seeing that energy as well that you get in that first round, straight out of the blocks.
Certainly a lot of energy, maybe a little bit more measured than the first bout that we saw. Williams just taking his time, looking for an opening, stepping into range, seeing how his opponent reacts, and he catches Barroso with another right hand again and backs the man in the red corner up into the corner. Barroso just holds on, giving himself a breather as the referee separates them. The referee sending Williams to the neutral corner as Barroso has his head guard adjusted. It's a common problem that we see, and you see it all over the world in amateur boxing. When the head guard's clipped, they do tend to spin around, and that's very, it's vision, very, very difficult. Williams really going for the kill early here. Can Barroso respond? He's certainly been out-hustled in the first minute and a half as Williams comes forward again with a jab to the body, but he's locked up. The referees have a hard job and get in there and separate fighters when they clinch. Not an easy job refereeing these fights when, as we've seen already, they can turn on the wrong side of a brawl sometimes. The bell for the end of round 1. Good start from the man in blue, Rick Williams, and Tiago Barroso. Got a bit of work to do to get back into this one, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that was quite a ferocious start from both fighters there. Referee Seamus having to step in a couple of times there to break things up, even called timeout at one point.
We'll see on our scorecard. Call that a 10-9 round for Rick Williams. 1 down and 2 to go. You see the corner man in the red corner just giving instructions, keeping that right glove high up by the chin when he's throwing the left jab out. Avoid that counter left hook. So the second of 3 2-minute rounds begins. Both fighters step forward again, and Williams, see already looking for an opening, throws a couple of feints to bring Barroso on, and the plan's worked. Barroso missed with both the jabs, and then Williams went on the offensive. Nice jab from the man in red.
said it before as well, but it's so good to see the support from everyone in the crowd. I know we keep banging on about it, but the atmosphere in here tonight really is terrific. It's hard to think that 10 weeks ago, most of these fighters have never been in a ring. It's just incredible to think how far they've come in that 10 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think you can undersell the support that is always at these events. And it's always friends, family, loved ones, and I imagine it can't be easy having to watch somebody that you care a lot about getting in there and on occasion taking a bit of a battering. It can't be nice at all, but always a great turnout here. It's the perfect venue for boxing. It's close, it's intimate, holds plenty of people, but everybody feels like they're ringside, which is not always the case at big professional events. Sometimes you can be sat a very long way away. And Thiago Barroso has rallied here after a good start from Williams in the first round. But he was holding with the left hand, hitting with the right, which is not allowed under the Queensberry rules. So any more of that, the referee will be deducting points. So another thing to keep an eye on as the second round comes to a close. A better round for the man in red, but another close affair this.
Yeah, the Bruce corner getting quite animated there as well as that round continued.
Of course, as always, if you'd like to find out more information, head to the website www.whitecollarboxinglondon.com, on Facebook at White Collar Boxing London, or you can have a look at us on Twitter as well at WCB London, all uppercase. They're a friendly bunch, so if you are on the fence as to whether to sign up, of course we've got the option of coming along to the training camp and not fighting, but a great way to get fit in either case. Here we are, nice bit of sportsmanship between Williams and Barroso as they touch gloves before the final round, and that's the one thing you have to say about all of these bouts is that at the end of them, all the fighters remain friends and there's always mutual respect. Timeout has been called.
My word, no hope of this fight slowing down either. Once again, third round and already both fighters straight out of the blocks.
And the referee pulling them to the middle and telling them to clean their act up a bit. Barroso just grabbed the leg of Williams, who lands a fantastic lead left hook there, right on the button, and that will really have caught the eye of the judges. As we were just saying, Barroso got a little bit untidy there, grabbed the leg and sort of hooked it up. Inside dirty tactics, but it's coming back and it's a real back and forth encounter. Great ebb and flow to this fight. Williams is now the one who's perhaps in trouble, pushes his man back onto the ropes. Both men looking for a breather, and again a welcome one arrives as Barroso's head guard yet again just comes loose.
What a fabulous round as well, both fighters really connected.
Williams really showing that Aussie spirit, but he is caught clean by Barroso, taking 3 or 4 shots. Both men almost out on their feet, and this is really a war of attrition, a test of wills as Williams comes forward again. Barroso now on the ropes. Goodness me. Don't know who's more relieved that they've got another breather. Williams in the corner, absolutely exhausted. He's got a real pained expression on his face, but it doesn't stop him coming forward. He's walked straight into a 1-2. Grabbing right in the left on the bell, but the embrace.
What a spectacle that was. And again, fabulous sportsmanship right to the end.
A few paracetamol in the morning for those two?
Absolutely.
contest. 29 points to 29 points, a draw!
Well, I think both men relieved to see the final bell by the end of that. Perhaps a draw, an apt result in the end. Both men giving a good account of themselves. Perhaps Williams, the aggressor, coming forward more, but in the process just walking onto one or two shots from Barroso, counted him well and gave as good account of himself as he possibly could have, given Williams' aggressive start in the first round. And so both men fight to a draw. And they'll be speaking to Matthew Walker, who's in the ring with them now.
Tiago, Rick, oh my word, what a battle that was. Ladies and gents, once again, give both of these fighters a massive round of applause. Gentlemen, now I spoke to you both before we kicked off tonight. How on earth did that feel?
Exhausted, to say the least. It felt good, it felt good.
A few paracetamol in the morning, I would imagine.
More beer for all of us. 3 beers on Scott Patrick.
Do you know what as well? I'm going to say absolute fabulous sportsmanship from both of you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, give both fighters a massive round of applause this evening. Congratulations, well done.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our next bout of the evening, please welcome to the red corner from Morton, South London, David Weller.
In the red corner, third contestant. It's contestant in the third fight tonight. David Weatherhead, police officer from South London, enjoys football and the guitar. Listen to the reception for Jared Golden, my word.
In fact, I've been looking forward to Jared coming out tonight. I spoke to him before the fight and asked him what he enjoyed doing outside of the ring, and his response was watching Disney, which is possibly the best response I've ever heard about what someone does when they're not boxing. Jared also had his own personalised shorts made for this evening. His surname Jared the Can of Gold, or Golden should I say, so he had golden shorts made, but sadly because of the blue and red corner rules, he wasn't allowed to wear them, unfortunately.
Oh no! What an effort!
Absolutely. Apparently they had the Canna written right across the front.
Well, maybe if he turns pro one day he'll get to wear them. But he's going to have to get through tonight first 3 2-minute rounds against David Weatherhead. Nice little Ali shuffle with David Weatherhead. And from the sound of the support, there's not many people left in Dartford this evening.
Not at all. And both fighters looking in great shape as well, actually. This could be quite an interesting bout.
Absolutely. Well, as always, 3 2-minute rounds. Only extends to 4 2-minute rounds if the WCBL title is on the line, which it will be a little bit later on tonight, and we'll get to that in due course. But before these two begin, as always, they'll receive their instructions.
Man in blue looking quite composed there as well.
Does it very relaxed. Have the Frozen soundtrack on backstage, no doubt. And we'll be excited to hear that there is a sequel.
Oh, Cinderella came out this week as well, didn't it?
Did it now? So, you're more up on it than I am, apparently. Round one, and plenty of movement from blue and red. First 10 seconds. Weatherhead lands a glancing right blow. Just topples Golden off balance. Going to hurt him, I think, at this stage. Golden, just trying to establish his range, darting in and out. Did land a jab then, which is caught with the right hand in return. Good straight right hand from Weatherhead, just caught Golden on the side of the head.
Good reach on both fighters as well.
Yeah, Weatherhead slightly taller, looks a little bit rangier to me. And just seeing him early on landing the cleaner shots at distance, and perhaps an indication that Jared Golden needs to try and get a little bit closer with his feet before he can land. And if so, he's going to have to get past that nice long and fast jab of Weatherhead. But as you can see already, technically this has gone up a notch, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And again, you can see that the pace straight out in that first round. You can see that energy, that nervous energy coming out.
It's a good start from Weatherhead, keeping the fight at range. Landed a couple of nice right hands already, would have caught the judge's eye, and Jared Golden probably slightly behind on the scorecards and will need a strong finish to this round. At the moment, he is struggling. He's been caught again there.
I think he's really struggling to deal with that reach on Weatherhead.
Absolutely, Weatherhead 3 or 4 inches taller, longer arms, and keeping the fight at distance is really suiting the man in red.
I think he nearly caught Seamus, our referee, there as well.
And now the old head guard timeout. Well, not been a bad start to the night, has it really? It's been quite good.
Fabulous start to the night.
You see Weatherhead there, just using that jab as a rangefinder, lands it twice on the bell, and almost certainly a 10-9 round for the man in red. Nothing like the old 10-second warning to get the heart rate rising again after 25 seconds on the stool. And Alex Lanning and Mide Dedegbe, the cornermen, giving the instructions to David Weatherhead and Jared Golden in the blue corner. Golden got a bit of work to do to get back into this, and he started a little bit quicker, perhaps knowing he's behind. And the aggressive start has paid dividends in his first 20 seconds, but head guard again has become dislodged. And it's again a sign that the punches aren't being thrown particularly straight, that they're kind of being whipped in from the side. It's making the head guard spin, and I mean, frustratingly, from our point of view, stopping the action, but sometimes for these guys, giving them a kind of a well-needed breather.
Yeah, neither fighter seems to be letting up either here.
I think nice right hand landed there from Jared Golden. I think perhaps the first round, Golden has realised that maybe he's not going to win this fight boxing at distance, and so he's going to have to turn it a little bit uglier. And actually, it's a tactic that so far in this first minute seems to be working. Just making things a bit more difficult for Weatherhead, throwing a higher volume of punches than he was before, and that's sort of negating the work that Weatherhead's able to do. At the moment, for me, Jared Golden is ahead in this second round, which makes it very interesting if it stays like this going into the third and final.
Yeah, Golden really putting in a shift in this second round.
Again, just wonder how much he'll have left in the third. Weatherhead, although he hasn't been on the attack in this second, looks to be the fresher of the two men, just by eye. So it'll be interesting to see when they get further down the stretch in the third, who will have a little bit more left in the tank. At the moment, looking at the two men as Mide Dedegbe to adjust the head guard of Jared Golden, it looks to me that David Weatherhead is the fresher of the two men.
Yeah, which I think going into that third round will make, or could potentially make all the difference as well. As we were saying earlier, those 2-minute rounds feel like a lifetime when you get in there.
Absolutely, and it's all well. Great rally from both men. We come towards the end of the second round. It's all very well levelling up the scores, but how much has that left Jared Golden in the tank? To me, going into this final round, David Weatherhead looks to be the fresher of the two men. All to fight for now in this final 2 minutes.
Do you know what? I'd love to bet against you, but sadly, I agree. I think the man in the red could take this.
But the other factor, not to be underestimated, Matthew, is the support. And I would argue that the support goes in favour of the man in blue, as we can hear behind us. And if there's anything that might drag you through that final 45 seconds, it's these lot.
Yeah, but listen, when you got Walt Disney in your corner, you're always a winner.
So are we going to have the fairy tale ending for Jared Golden? Or will David weather the storm? I'm so sorry. People are paying money for the DVD as well. So, another enthralling contest hangs in the balance. Third and final round between Jared Golden in the blue corner, David Weatherhead in the red. The bell rings, and as expected, they go to work without hesitation. Weatherhead pushing forward, but Golden not going to be pushed back. Wild swings from the man in blue.
Again, neither fighter letting up though either.
Weatherhead trying to re-establish the jab and puts a nice right hand on the back of it. But again, what Golden's perhaps lacking technically, he's making up for in spirit. And he won't be deterred. He doesn't want to let down the fans that have come all the way from Dartford to support him tonight. This one's still right in the balance. Nice right hand from Golden, but Weatherhead comes back with a left himself. The referee has stopped that because there was a backhand in there from Jared Golden. And of course, if you do a right hook, you can't then swing your hand back and hit the opponent with the back of the hand. Might sound obvious, but some people watching may not know that. Of course, the glove has got to land with the knuckle part of the glove, not the back of the hand or the inside of the palm.
You know, we had one actually towards the end of the second round as well. I think Seamus, unfortunately, was at a tough angle and didn't quite catch it.
Last 15 seconds really just about who wants it more, because there really isn't a great deal to pick between these two. Both men have had a good round each. Weatherhead the first, Golden the second, and this has now just been who's got enough to survive. And both men embrace again. I'm sure relieved to hear the final bell.
Absolutely, what a fight once again. In fact, all our fights so far tonight, absolutely incredible.
If you and I ever get in the ring, can we agree to be a bit nicer to each other than these lot are?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. We'll hug after every round.
Do you have a friendly wager on it? The loser has to pay for a trip to Frozen 2 at the cinema. Or would you rather go to Cinderella?
Either way, we've got to take Jared with us.
All right, yeah, deal. So, scorecards being collated. We go to the judges for the score.
And after those rounds of action. Your referee has scored this contest 29 points to 28 points in favour of your winner, fighting out of the red corner.
Well, a disappointed looking Jared Golden, who gave it his absolute all in there. The technical proficiency of David Weatherhead, perhaps enough for the judges to just sneak it his way, and there really wasn't very much in it. The great sportsmanship shown between the two men again, as they take their final photos, and will shortly be joined by Matthew Walker.
Jared, before you head off there, let me have a quick word with you. First of all, congratulations, how was that? Oh yeah, I'm nervous. I can well imagine that neither of you, who were just saying down there, what a fight, neither of you lost at any stage throughout that. Did you think you were going to do it? Did you think you'd win it?
After the first round, I was
Listen, I'll let you get your breath back, but ladies and gentlemen, please, once again, give a massive round of applause for both fighters this evening. Congratulations once again to Jared the Canner Golden.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our next bout of the evening, please welcome to the red corner from Pimlico, Artur Juzewski.
So first up in the red corner, Artur Juzewski. He's got a good history of sports activities. He said WCB in its full stretch is a must box tick adventure. I think for many people it is a sort of a bucket list event, isn't it really? It's one of those things that you think, well, if I'm going to try it, I must try it once, and in what better environment to give it a go. And his opponent, Billy Holiday. Not the Billy Holiday, although, now this is a strange fact for you, and he may have to correct me if I'm wrong here. There was a chap, he's from Sevenoaks, which is my hometown, and there was a lad in my school, a couple of years above me, in my primary school, so we're going back 15 years here, called Billy Holiday. Now, the one thing I remember about this lad, he was a very, very good tennis player. So, I'm either chatting absolute rubbish, and it's a completely different person, but if there are two Billy Holidays from Sevenoaks, then I'll be very surprised.
I'd go as far as saying if there are two Billy Holidays in Sevenoaks, I will get in the ring before the end of the night.
Well, Billy,
you heard it here first.
Billy is originally from Sevenoaks. So he's just moved to Essex with his girlfriend, and they are expecting their first child together. So many congratulations to Billy. Great news for him. And you know what? Looking at him, it is the very same chap. I've got a good memory. Aggressive stamping in the ring of from Artur Juzewski. The intimidation tactics certainly worked. Made me jump a couple of times.
Likewise.
Introducing to you first the fighting red corner. He's from Pimlico in London, where he is known as the Cobra, Artur Juzewski. And opposing him, fighting out on the blue corner, he's from Kent, where he is known as the Bomb, Billy Holiday.
So Artur Juzewski in the red corner, Billy the Bomb Holiday in the blue. 3 2-minute rounds. Plenty at stake as always. And we are away. And already you can see technically it's gone up another notch again. You can see just by the stances of the two men and the way they're holding their feet in their hands that these are two men that have perhaps been training a little longer than the 10-week camps of some of our contestants this evening.
Yeah, again, you can just see the composure straight from the off.
Josefowski landing a couple of early shots, but Holiday undeterred, just inching himself into range. Nice jab. Just feeling out distance is the key, but often difficult to do in these fast-paced fights where you do feel that time is of the essence, and you do feel perhaps a slightly more of an urgency to get your shots off and score points than if you were in, say, an 8 or a 10-round fight where you'd have a little bit more time to set yourself and establish a range, and it's not such a rush. And actually, funny enough, speaking to a couple of the British boxers who are in the WSB, who of course fight in the amateur ranks in the Olympic Games, the World Championships, where they're still on three rounds as well. The WSB is a 5-round format, and many of them comment that actually it's a nicer distance to be able to sort of pace yourself and not feel that you've got to rush your work. And I think that's part of the reason, like we say, nervous energy as well, but also the reason that you know you've only got 3 2-minute rounds. That's not very much to kind of make your mark, really, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's nice to see. You can see here Holiday really weighing up the man in red, trying to suss out his opponent, what he's going to do, try and weigh him up.
And much easier for the judges to score that as well. Much cleaner work. You can see the jab coming out. You can see what the intentions are of both fighters, rather than sometimes a bit of a melee. But as we speak, Holiday's decided to make his move, and he's landed a couple of nice shots on the inside, but again a backhand. We saw that in the last fight. The referee warning Josefowski in the red corner there. I'm just checking that Holiday's okay, as the backhand again just spun his helmet round, and that's not allowed, and any more of that, and again we'll see a point deducted. They readjust that head guard of Holiday. And it's a common theme you do see sometimes, is that you miss with the right and think, right, I'm going to swing it back and try and clip them with the backhand, and it's just it's not UFC, unfortunately.
It's almost born out of frustration when you go in for that punch and you miss it.
Absolutely.
Interesting round though. Interesting round. Both fighters taking their time, not rushing him. It's good to see. It's good to see that technique being used.
Yeah, Josefowski, an early aggressive start, but did like the work of Holiday. A little bit cleaner, a bit crisper. When he did pick his shots, he landed well. Just sometimes depends on what the judges favour. When they favour aggression, shots landed, power punches. There are lots of different things that they'll score fights on. One of the big ones is just ring generalship, and that's of course the way the boxer commands himself in the ring, the way they dictate the pace of the fight, the distance, whether they look like they're the boss when punches aren't being thrown, essentially. And that's a very underrated skill, to be able to manoeuvre your opponent and actually keep them where you want them without actually throwing any punches, and that's something that can favour them heavily once it goes to the scorecards as well.
Yeah, and you could really see Holiday doing that straight from the outset as well. Just really taking his time and moving around the ring, trying to suss things out.
So, a patient start from Billy Holiday, less so from Josefowski. And how will that fare them as this progresses? Holiday comes forward with a nice 1-2 hook, a couple of right hands off the back, and a nice flurry on the inside as Josefowski puts his head down and locks his man up. Again, the referee doing a good job of separating the fighters. Holiday looking sharp, nice footwork to get him out of range. And bit of water in the corner there, and don't underestimate how slippery that can make it for the boxers. One foot touches down on that, you can lose your back leg, and actually not nice when you're trying to think about other things. You don't want a slippery surface, so the referee just pausing proceedings and getting the corner man of Billy Holiday to just give that floor in the corner a wipe.
It's good to see the referee running a tight ship as well.
Absolutely. As always on these shows, Josefowski comes forward, misses with a lead left hook. Holiday catches him as he moved off to his right-hand side, walks straight into the left hook. And a jumping right hand. The referee had a look, but actually that is legal. Both feet don't have to be planted on the floor. It's an unusual tactic, and one that you'd see more in a sort of mixed martial arts format than this, but perhaps that's a background that Josefowski was mentioning when he said he's well schooled in different sports. Perhaps he's done a bit of mixed martial arts, so jumping right hand landed. But again, you feel the cleaner work still coming from Holiday, and certainly in terms of a measure of composure for these two, he looks to me to be the boss.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally agree. Even now, you can see he's really taking his time, really weighing up the situation before making his move.
Just put another right hand through the guard there to Billy Holiday. Clean, crisp work. Comes forward with the jab again. And when Josefowski comes forward, by and large, Holiday just takes a couple of half steps back, shuffles himself out of range, which makes Josefowski have to lean with his punches, which, if he does land, takes the impact out of them. So for me, the better work coming from the man in the blue corner, and I wouldn't bet on him being 2 rounds up at this stage.
No, likewise, I totally agree. And again, because he's been doing that, he's been conserving his energy, which means he's going into the 3rd round fresh. I think he's in a great situation, possibly, to take this fight.
Yeah, and a good point you've made there, looking fresher, not even using his corner stool at the moment, happy to stand on his feet. With Josefowski here, who's a little bit closer to us, but you can see the lungs moving in and out. He looks to be breathing much, much more heavily, and as you mentioned, that could be a big factor going into certainly the last minute of the final round.
Yeah, and I would guess, sadly I didn't have a chance to speak to either of these fighters before, but I would guess they've both fought before. If not, they've got fabulous technique after 10 weeks. Again, it's like anything, isn't it? It comes with experience, and I would imagine Holiday's done this before and will know that going into the 3rd round, it can make all the difference.
So the 3rd round, a good start from Holiday as he lands a 1-2 hook, then slips an oncoming jab from Josefowski. Really nice head movement and footwork from the man in blue, who's able to find his shots, get in the pocket and land, even though he's the shorter man, but then dictate the distance and move cleverly out of range. Really, really nice work from Holiday. Another right lands there. And Josefowski is missing with everything. A wild swing and a miss there, and he's turned his back, but the referee hasn't called break, therefore Holiday well within his rights to move forward and keep throwing, which he does. Lovely counter right over the jab from Holiday there, just saw it coming, slipped his head to the left-hand side, threw the right over the top, and he is the absolute boss of this fight. Just over a minute left to go in this 3rd and final round, and the crowd really raising their voices on the suspect to the quality that they've seen from Billy Holiday. Great stuff for the man in blue, and you can see the nose of Josefowski absolutely covered in blood. You see a few gasps from the audience over there. First bloody nose of the night, and I'm sure not the last.
No, I definitely agree with that.
One of the things, of course, for the judges is very hard to resist the temptation to score blood on the face of an opponent, because, of course, whatever way you look at it, it's proof in the pudding that damage has been done one way or another. So that will certainly count for Billy Holiday when the judges take a good hard look at these fighters in around 10 seconds' time.
And there it is, the end of the fight. And actually, you can really see the quality being stepped up there between the first few fights. Really, really stepped it up a notch.
Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for both boxers after 3 entertaining rounds. And after those 3 rounds of action, the referee has scored this contest 30 points to 28 points in favour of your winner, fighting out of the blue corner.
Well, Billy Holiday, the winner, unanimously, and absolutely no doubt from where we were sitting, and the judges concur as well. But a game effort from Artur Josefowski, but he was well beaten on the night. fighters there. As always, mutual respect shown. And standing by to speak to the winner is
Billy, first of all, fabulous contest. Congratulations. How did that feel?
Tiring.
Yeah, very tiring, but that was good. Enjoyed it. Fantastic. Now, I didn't get a chance to speak to you before you fought tonight. Is that your first fight?
No, I had one 3 years ago.
You had one 3 years ago? Wow, so this is the first time you fought in 3 years? My word. Well, listen, congratulations. We were both saying down there, you were really weighing up that fight. Didn't rush in. A fabulous display.
Very much.
So will you go again, do you think?
Maybe after a drink, maybe.
Top man. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good to you. Appreciate it. We're both fighting this evening. Billy Holiday winning.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our next bout of the evening. Please welcome to the red corner from Milton Keynes.
well, it's positively carnival time. And a great entrance song for the man in the red corner, Brett Beefy Busey, I believe it is.
What a reception for the man in red as well. Absolute massive fan base ringside down here.
But actually really nice to have an upbeat sort of carnivalesque tune rather than the usual moody, atmospheric, build the tension. So we've had Disney and we've had Carnival so far.
Julian Bradshaw.
And his opponent tonight, Julian the Windmill Bradshaw, 31-year-old data analyst, just coming back for his second fight for WCBL. After enjoying the experience the first time out, looking to bounce back after losing on points for his first appearance. So fair play to Julian for coming back and giving it another crack. Good luck to him tonight.
Yep, and his opponent Brett in the red corner, this is his first fight. And in his spare time he manages a female football team, which is Milton Keynes City.
Ladies and gentlemen, this WCBL rules bout will be contested over 3 2-minute rounds. Introducing to you firstly, fighting out of the red corner. He's from Milton Keynes, where he is known as Brett Beefy Busey.
I think Brett's brought half of Milton Keynes with him tonight.
He's from Staines. Please welcome Julian Windmill Bradshaw.
Well, I hope the windmill is not indicative of the technique we're going to be seeing from the man in blue.
The women's looking very composed again. There's something about that blue corner.
Well, it's either composed or scared stiff. Hard to tell in this situation, but a good poker face if it's the latter. How would you try and prepare yourself, do you think, for this? Would you be a composed competitor, do you think, or would you be racked with nerves?
No, I would probably try and dance around the ring and then would get knocked to the floor within the first 30 seconds, I imagine.
Well, we're away the first round. And the two men are both smothering each other's work and going into an immediate clinch. Busey comes forward with a nice 1-2. Good head work from Bradshaw though, slipping to the left and trying to land a couple of shots of his own. Nice high guard of Bradshaw and moving that head to the left, swinging the hook in. Busey in an opening, gone on the offensive, and Bradshaw finding it rather difficult to cover up at the moment. The referee just pulling Busey off and giving the man in blue a brief respite there. Oh, and a nice right hand lands again from Busey. Good start from the man in red. He's punching down onto the top of the head of Bradshaw as he's brought back to his corner for an adjustment. See Alex landing there, just adjusting his head guard. And well, he's been rattled early on, Bradshaw.
Yeah, to be honest, I think he'd be glad of that break, even though we're about 30 seconds in.
Like they always say in boxing, everyone goes in with a plan until they get hit. And sometimes you can go in with the best plan in the world, the tactics, but getting hit in the face for the first time, nothing quite like it, and actually nothing really prepares you for that on this stage. And you can just see, upon landing a couple of those shots that Brett Bussey did, Bradshaw just folded a little bit under the pressure. And the most important thing that can get you out of trouble is your footwork here. Forward comes Bussey again, lead uppercut. Swinging some big long hooks in. He's sent to the neutral corner. Whether the referee will score that as a knockdown or as a slip is yet to be seen. The referee lost his man there for a second.
As we were saying earlier as well, the ring is such a different place. You can spar till you're blue in the face, but that ring experience is just absolutely crucial.
It's a small area of the ring. It can be your friend or your worst enemy, depending on how you use it. For Bradshaw, he's finding it at the moment a pretty tough first round. As Bussey comes forward again, clubbing right hand on the belt. The referee sends the fighters back to their corners. And a good start for Brett Bussey.
Yeah, tough first round for the man in blue.
Common mistake that you do see in some of these fights, especially for the boxers who haven't fought before, is when they are in a little bit of trouble, they tend to almost retreat into their shell. So chin down, gloves up, and that's all very well. But the thing that really gets you out of trouble is moving your feet out of range, and then your whole body is out of punching range. And like we say, you've got a 14-foot ring here, you've got plenty of room to move. It's just using the space that you've got, using the size of that ring to get you out of trouble. Not always about just covering up and absorbing blows on the gloves. That works to an extent if you're on the ropes. Really, there's a lot of space in front of these guys and behind them and to the side of them. Sometimes the best option is shuffle your feet and get out of trouble if you feel like your opponent is building momentum. So the question is, has Bradshaw learnt from the first round?
And as well, the problem with going into your shell is that you tend to lose balance as well, which is exactly what we saw from Bradshaw in the first round.
Bradshaw coming straight forward. Bussey having a quick look to the referee. A bit of an inside exchange this time from the two men. Again, very difficult to score for the judges. A nice right hand on the back of it, Bussey. I'm not sure whether the referee had called break. It was a right that landed right on the button after a fairly scrappy inside exchange. And the two men box on. Well, it's crude but effective work from Brett Bussey as he marauds forward, pumping those arms out, and Bradshaw starting to look a very, very tired man in there. Yet another timeout call.
Really starting to see that fatigue kick in, even in this second round now.
Brett Bussey the bigger man, and certainly imposed his size in these first 2 rounds. Brett Bussey's corner men belting out instructions. Brett Bussey wasting no time. I think he sensed that Bradshaw didn't have a great deal left in the tank, and perhaps senses that he might be able to get the finish here if he can put enough into this, and landed a couple more shots there. Bradshaw on the back foot, but now the man in blue beginning to fight back. And he's not going to go quietly.
There it is, round 2, but I think you're right. See how this 3rd round goes. Got a couple of well-timed punches. I think we could see the man in blue on the canvas.
It's worth pointing out that it is rare to see knockouts in white-collar boxing, certainly on the shows here at White Collar Boxing London. I think that's a good sign, because it's obviously an element of safety that has to be the priority for all of these boxers. Remember, these are not professionals. They may be in a very simulated professional environment, but these aren't people that really want to get hurt. This is more an emphasis on a display of skills and everything that these boxers have learned over the last 10 weeks. And as a result of that, there aren't a high percentage of knockouts. So if anybody watching at home, watching the DVD, are concerned about that, very, very unlikely. But given what we've seen, Brett Bussey in charge here, and I feel he will be looking for perhaps a late stoppage in this 3rd and final round. Bradshaw instantly goes onto the back foot. Bussey comes forward, looking for that stoppage. And what has Bradshaw got left to respond with? And there it is. I have to say, it did look to be coming. It did look as if that was on the cards in the 1st and 2nd round. And a big knockdown from Brett Bussey. And the referee didn't bother with the usual 8 count. Saw that Bradshaw was in trouble, and he'd had quite enough. And quite rightly, put a very timely stop to it. And an emphatic win for Brett Bussey. First knockout of the evening. And what a way to finish it, Matthew.
Absolutely. I mean, again, a wonderful effort from both fighters. And a fabulous way to continue the evening. I am going to go and speak to tonight's winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 24 seconds completed of round number 3, your referee, Trevor Stone, has stopped the contest, giving Julian Bradshaw in no position to continue. Therefore, your winner by TKO. Fighting now of the red corner. And show your appreciation for a runner-up, the windmill, Julian Bradshaw.
Well, as emphatic a stoppage as you'll see from Brett Bussey. Never nice to see someone down and out on the canvas, but really good to see that Julian Bradshaw back on his feet and okay.
Brett, my word, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Brett, I think you brought half of Milton Keynes with you tonight.
Fantastic support, thank you very much.
First fight as well, it was very impressive. Did you enjoy it?
I did, hard, but yeah, very, very good.
Fantastic. And would you come back and do it again?
Most probably, yeah.
Wonderful news. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please give a big hand to the fight this evening and your winner, Brett
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the red corner, all the way from South Africa,
So in the red corner, John Alenskus from South Africa, been living in London for the last 5 years, works in the film and TV industry as a visual effects artist. He said it's been a very, very long time since he entered a boxing ring, but he's extremely excited about it. Good luck to him. So Ben Thompson, his opponent from Newcastle, in the blue corner.
Yeah, Ben, again, I spoke to him before the fight this evening. I've never met a man that travels around the country so much as Ben does. So he lives in Leeds, he's a Newcastle season ticket holder, and works Monday 9 to 5 in London.
That's a travel and a half every weekend, isn't it?
It certainly is.
That's commitment to your club, that is.
To Newcastle as well.
It's a good job we'll be miles away by the time he watches this. I'll be sure to tell him that you said that before the night's over, though.
Yeah, cheers for that, Chris.
He's a big lad. You should have had a look before you said it.
I should have done. I spoke to him earlier, I should have known better.
Introducing to you firstly, he's fighting out of the red corner, hailing from Cape Town, South Africa. Please welcome
I asked Jonathan in the red corner about his nickname earlier, which is the Rattle, and apparently the Rattle is a honey badger from South Africa. And in the man himself's words, it is a fierce little creature.
So you are full of fun facts tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, I love a fun fact. That is what we are dealing with this evening.
Have you got many more of these up your sleeve?
Well, apparently, as well as being a fierce little creature, it is also an armoured tank, which they're two very different things. Let's see which one comes out in the ring.
Absolutely. So here we go, 3 2-minute rounds. Jonathan Alenskus in the red corner, and Ben Thompson from Newcastle in the blue. Well, the first round sounds, and Alenskus wasting no time and charging over. The tank analogy, trying to roll over Thompson. He's got considerable height and reach advantage from the look of things. Two big lads in there. Nice jab as Alenskus came forward. It caught Thompson off balance, but he's done well to regain his composure. Wasn't a million miles away from hitting the canvas there.
Nor the cameraman, actually, with
you know, they do a great job of hanging on to their position sometimes. Those cameramen right in the thick of it. As Thompson now weathered an early storm, came back with a couple of shots of his own. But we can see exactly what sort of fight this is going to be from the off. Two men who are quite content to stand in the pocket and trade with each other. Alenskus, the shorter, squatter of the two. and arguably the heavier man. Thompson, the height and reach advantage. Can he keep this at range? He's doing so at the moment with a nice jab. Commanding the centre of the ring. Clubbing right hand, doubles it up, triples it up.
I don't know about you, but that took me completely by surprise.
I think it took Jonathan Alenskas by surprise, to be quite honest with you. 3 clubbing right hands. The first, I think, shook Thompson a little. The second knocked him off balance, and the third ended it. So all in all for Thompson, a rather shorter, perhaps easier night's work than he was expecting after a really good early start from Alenskas. Came forward, was a game competitor. His night cut very short indeed.
3 seconds completed of the very first round. The referee Seamus Gunn has stopped the contest, deeming Jono Alenskas in no position to continue. Therefore, your winner by TKO, fighting out of the blue corner. Bang! The very bad boy, Thompson! And show your appreciation for the runner-up, Jono Alenskas.
Really good to see the 2 men in arms at the end of the fight. Ben Thompson, an emphatic first round knockout winner here tonight. Standing by to talk to him is Matthew Walker.
Ben, once again, as always, congratulations.
Thank you.
Rather short and sweet, but how was that?
Yeah, it was good fun. I thought I was going to lose it at the beginning, but managed to get something to do with it, man.
Fantastic. And let me get this, was that your first fight?
First fight, yeah.
First fight. Well, listen, what a fight to start with. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please put your hands together for both fighters this evening. Your winner, Ben Bentley Bad Boy, and Jonathan Ratal Alenskas. Thank you very much, Ben. Have a lovely evening.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the red corner from North London, Sean O'Malley!
And Sean, the Celtic warrior, Mahoney, enters the ring in the red corner tonight. Says that he's got one specific man that's inspired him when he went to watch him in Las Vegas. Tell us a bit more about that, Matthew.
Yeah, apparently Sean was over in Las Vegas when Mayweather fought last and decided that he'd like to give it a go. So this is his first fight this evening.
And of course, we're only weeks away from that blockbuster main event between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Arguably the biggest fight in the history of the sport. Just weeks away. I, for one, am incredibly excited. But as important as that is to boxing fans all around the world, tonight is equally as important to the fighters and the friends and family in this wonderful little setup tonight. Years old, Managing Director Nirvana Electrical and Nirvana Maintenance based in Bromley in Kent. But his main aspiration to take on White Collar Boxing London is to raise money for cancer research. That's really, really great to hear. Of course, our own Joni, sadly fighting her own battle against the disease, and really, really great to see one of our competitors raising money for such an incredible cause.
Entrance from the man in blue this evening as well.
London, where he is known as the Celtic Warrior. Make some noise for Sean. And across the ring, fighting out on the blue corner, he's from Bromley in Kent. Make some noise for Darren.
Two men, an intense stare down as they receive their final instructions. I have a feeling we can expect fireworks on the sound of this first bout. Two exchange sharp jabs early on. Waitson eyeing up his man. Left jab to the body and doubles it up to the head. Nice work from the man in blue. Eye-catching stuff early on. Good response from O'Mahony, a 1-2 to the head, opened up Darren Waitson, and then a nice little combination to the body as well. So not much to choose between them, both just mini spells of success in the first round. Jab from O'Mahony there, and a right hand on the back of it. And it does seem on these evenings that every punch is just met with an amazing cheer from the crowd, doesn't it? And it really enhances the atmosphere of the action that's in the ring, especially when you're here at these events. And if you are watching and you've never been to one of these, I implore you to spend the money and come down. It's well worth the night out, and I just think what a great thing to come to with friends and family.
Great technique from both fighters as well.
O'Mahony having a bit of success there. Just noticed that Darren Waitson dropping the left hand before he throws that jab, and he is, you see it holding it low there. It does make him susceptible to the right hand. See if O'Mahony can find that gap that Waitson is leaving open at the moment. Has come over with the right, misses it, lands a left hook, gets the better of that exchange, O'Mahony. Waitson comes forward with a double jab, the two men touch gloves at the end of the round. Competitive stuff early on, yet again.
Great first round, and again you can really feel the energy levels have lifted up a notch.
Yeah, the crowd really settling in, well in their stride as we approach the midway point of the night's action. What a night it's been, 2 stoppages, 2 knockouts already. Some great technical skills on display as well. Still to come, of course, the all-important WCBL title fight.
Round 2.
So the second round, O'Mahony coming out, establishing the jab early on. Waitson just struggling to find his range at this point, but lands a nice right there. He's got O'Mahony on the ropes. Successful 1-2 landed. Mahoney's got to get on his bike here to stay out of trouble, and Waitson's sensed he's got his man in trouble, and O'Mahony's done brilliantly there to tie his man up, of course giving himself those vital 4 or 5 seconds to breathe and regain his composure. Bit of blood now from the nose of O'Mahony. So proof for the judges that that spell that Waitson had about half a minute ago did bring him some success. course, blood filling the nostrils can impair breathing, makes it harder to breathe through the nose. So you will see that kind of gaping mouth look that O'Mahony's giving us at the moment. Just trying to suck in as much oxygen through the mouth as possible as he eats another jab from Waitson. Better spell from the man in blue, this.
Again, like we saw early on, I think O'Mahony really struggling to deal with that reach on Waitson.
Certainly is, and Waitson now establishing that range, finding the target with the jab. And O'Mahony certainly more flat-footed than he was in the opening portion of the fight. For the third round sounds, both men simultaneously exchanging stiff jabs, and O'Mahony landing a nice right there. He's bloodied up at the end of the second. And again, just see the referee keeping a tight order on things. No holding the back of the head and punching at the same time, not allowed at any point holding and hitting.
See O'Mahony really starting to look tired now as this third round continues on.
Yeah, just see the bounce goes from the toes, doesn't it? The heels are planted on the floor. The fleet-footedness of movement is certainly gone, and that makes him much more open for the taking. It's whether Waitson's got the energy to take advantage of that, and he's starting to look equally as tired as the crowd really getting behind Darren Waitson here. Nice jab again from O'Mahony. But a good rally from the man in blue. O'Mahony took those shots very well indeed, because 3 or 4 landed in succession. Hard blows, 2 more land. And now Waitson swinging away, and that is absolutely textbook save by the bell there for O'Mahony.
There it is, and what a way to finish that third round as well. Waitson very nearly taking out another cameraman. It's not their night this evening.
And hit so hard that a bit of blood has made it all the way onto our programmes here. Hopefully the shirts are still clean. How are you looking?
Yeah, I think we're both alright. I think we both survived that one.
That's bolognese on yours, I think. I did say you should have worn a bib earlier at team. You will insist on wearing white while eating bolognese. It's not true. We didn't have dinner together. Well, I don't think...
We have been pouring water for one another as this has been going on, though, so we're bonding as this is going on.
Candle next week.
After those 3 rounds of action, your referee has scored this contest 29 points to 28 points in favour of your winner, fighting out of the
very little doubt as to the sort of trouble that O'Mahony was in at the end of that contest. Just about made it to the final bell, and I think really the referee was only moments away from stepping in and perhaps giving him a standing 8 count or putting a stop to the contest altogether. So, good win for Darren Waiton. And he's standing by now with Matthew Walker.
Darren, first of all, as always, congratulations. How did that feel?
Inspiring. I say, well, sure, you're very, very good shape, like I say, I mean, some big bodies there.
John, you look very focused at the beginning of that. Was there ever any doubt that you weren't going to win that?
I'm a competitive guy, so I got to psych myself up. I was always confident, and I can't think anything, I was always thinking I was going to win.
Well, it certainly worked for you, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, please put your hands together for tonight's winner, Darren.
Next up, very much the big one, WCBL vacant title. One man who's been gunning for this for a number of months and who's been training hard in his preparation is Joe Fournier. He faces late replacement Danny Collins, taking this fight on extremely short notice, and credit must be given. Joe Fournier, nightclub entrepreneur, working with Bonbonniere in London, who've supplied the 2 ring dancers in front of us at the moment.
heavyweight title. And so please welcome to the red corner from Isleworth in London, Joe
Joe Fournier been working in his capacity as a nightclub entrepreneur out in the States for the last few weeks, and been privileged enough to be under the tutelage of one Mr. Lennox Lewis. So what better preparation could you have for a fight of this type than an Olympic and world champion? Doesn't get much better than that.
It certainly doesn't. In fact, Joe is featured with Mr. Lewis himself in tonight's program. Underestimated. Danny Collins had the pleasure of speaking to him before the fight, and he plays rugby union for Ilfield every Saturday, so
please welcome to the blue corner from Bethnal Green, Danny Collins.
And here is the man himself, a local lad from Bethnal Green, so hasn't had far to travel, but also hasn't had long to prepare for this fight, only 2 or 3 days notice. But as you mentioned, a rugby union player, plays for Ilford every Saturday, so we can assume from that physically he's in good shape, and a tough man as well, used to a few hard knocks, and well, he's going to have to be, because from what we've seen of Joe Fournier in the past, he's a technically good boxer, he's also very, very strong, and packs a real punch as well. So interesting to see Danny Collins withstand an onslaught from a man in Joe Fournier, who has been really, really preparing himself rigorously for tonight.
This WCBL rules bout will be for the white collar boxing London light heavyweight title. This bout will be contested over 4 2-minute rounds. Introducing to you firstly, he's fighting out of the red corner. From Isleworth in London, make some noise for Joe Mulder. And fighting out of the blue corner, he's from Bethnal Green in London, make some noise for Danny Collins.
And as you've seen tonight, most of the contests take place over 3 2-minute rounds. As a title is at stake, the ante is upped. We'll be looking at 4 2-minute rounds here for the vacant WCBL light heavyweight title. Danny Collins in the blue corner, Joe Fournier in the red with the green gloves. And well, Danny Collins has exploded out of the blocks. Took Joe Fournier by surprise a little bit, but is now into his rhythm, just popping that jab out. Brought Collins onto a couple of nice jabs and an uppercut already.
Yeah, as you say, Collins straight out of the blocks there. I've got a feeling this fight will start to settle down as this round continues on.
I think once Danny Collins has felt the power of Joe Fournier's jab and the shots that he throws, perhaps that will deter him. That's got to be the aim for Fournier. Nice right hand over the top, puts Danny Collins straight down. Fournier sent to the neutral corner. Great shot, and he's been bringing him on to shots early on. And Danny Collins' forward momentum has been his worst enemy. He gets a 8 count from the referee, who then makes him step forward, double checks he's okay, makes him put his gloves up. Now they go again. Can Fournier exploit the damage that he's caused? And Danny Collins doesn't look like he fancies any more, and he's waved it off. So Fournier, well, he will be happy that he's won the title, but he looks a little bit disappointed because I know how hard he's trained for this, and I think really he will be looking for an opportunity to showcase more of his skills than we've seen in this first 45 seconds.
You know, we saw it again straight from the start. I was literally about to say, you could see Fournier just taking his time, sizing up his opponent, and all of a sudden out of nowhere we had that punch really took him to the floor.
And of course, all respect must go to Danny Collins for taking that on such late notice. Never an easy task, especially against a man who's been training so hard for this fight. And I think, you know, taking that on a couple of days' notice, it's no wonder that perhaps he thought, actually, maybe he's slightly out of my depth here.
Oh my word, absolutely, absolutely. But as you say, full credit to Danny.
So, well, Matthew, I believe you're going to head off in just a moment and have a chat with our newly crowned WCBL light heavyweight champion, Joe Fournier. It's been a long time coming for him, and the official announcement will be made in just a few moments' time. So Joe Fournier there, victorious. I know for a fact that he will be out on the tiles at Bonbonniere tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute and 13 seconds completed of the very first round, your referee has stopped the contest, deeming Danny Collins in no position to continue. Therefore, you're going to fighting out of the right corner, Joe Mulder. Ladies and gentlemen, and now be presenting with the WCBL light heavyweight title. And show your appreciation, please, for runner-up, Danny Collins.
Well, for the short time it lasted, it was lovely composed work for Joe Fournier.
All right, Joe, first of all, massive congratulations.
Thank you, buddy.
That was the big one. That was the one we all came to see this evening. How did that feel?
I felt great, I feel good. I really appreciate all my friends coming to support me. They all have to work tonight, so thank you for coming, guys.
Yeah, you had a massive fan base out there. Did that help you as you were going along?
Absolutely, you know, when you have your friends here, it calms you down. It's really intimidating, so I really respect my opponent for coming in and doing the job as well. So thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Do you know what, as always, that is what white collar boxing is all about. Fantastic sportsmanship. So ladies and gentlemen, not only
I just want to say thank you to Cambodia!
there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, please show your appreciation for the series winner, the battlers between Joe Fournier. And of course, natural appreciation for tonight's runners up, Mr. Danny Collins.
So an emphatic knockout victory for Joe Fournier. Perhaps didn't last as long as he may have liked it, strange as that sounds, but great win from him. And he'll be back to defend his title in the near future, I'm sure. Congratulations, Joe Fournier, newly crowned WCBL light heavyweight champion.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our next bout, please welcome to the red corner from Bermondsey in London, Jordan Mayhew.
So here comes in the red corner, Jordan Mayhew.
So Jordan actually is the second of tonight's fighters to fight in black. You may have seen, I think it was our second fight in. And the reason for that is that they fight out of a gym called State of Mind Fitness. And that is their gym's colours apparently. Jordan has just sent his application off to be a Marine. So, fingers crossed, that all works out for him. Also, I think in the blue corner, this is possibly my favourite nickname of the evening, Lee Klinger, who's fighting on the name of the Gunslinger.
Lee Klinger, an in-house name here at White Collar Boxing. Countless fights. A great one to watch technically. Got a super jab, incredibly long arms. Technically very, very sound indeed. He said on social media early this week, looking for a big knockout victory tonight. He enters the ring in the blue corner this evening. Can Jordan Mayhew provide a test for a man who has been leagues above some of the opposition he's faced in recent months? This will be an interesting one.
Lee Klinger provided my favourite wardrobe of the evening with the tassels on the back of his boots. I don't know whether you can see that.
When you've got a record like that, you've got every right to be flashed, haven't you?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, a man who needs no introduction. Gentlemen, please welcome Lee, Gunslinger.
So Jordan Mayhew in all black with a red helmet, red gloves, Lee Klinger in the blue. And typically Klinger starting off at long, rangy right hand. It's already found its mark, as has the jab. It's a surprise to Mayhew. So rangy Klinger. Hit you from halfway across the ring. He's improved technically so much over the last year and a half, certainly since I've been watching him. Great footwork from him as well. A real snap behind those punches. Mayhew at the moment holding his own. Just maintain the distance between himself and the man in blue. Good footwork. Oh, Mayhew lands a nice right over the top there. Just a warning sign for Klinger that he's not going to have it all completely his own way this evening. Just a couple of jabs and a right there, both come off the arms. Oh, and a nice counter right hand from Klinger there. Just saw the opening as Mayhew came forward. Straight through the guard, left hook, then a right hand now from Klinger. Certainly stamped his mark as the boss in this first round.
Again, you can really see that technique playing its part here.
Oh, and a counter right hand from Mayhew. Well, the referees ruled that a knockdown, but the punch certainly landed. And whether or not it hurt Klinger, it certainly was the punch that put him off balance, and his glove touched down. So there is an argument for a standing 8 count there. Lee Klinger has got away with it, but he's been let off there. So we'll carry on. It's a good shot landed from Mayhew, and although he's been on the end of some nice combinations early, his expression says that he's not rattled and he's not undeterred. A good opening round for both men, perhaps Klinger just edging that one.
Yeah, I think that was a very solid round. Really, really solid start. As you say, I think possibly Klinger just edging it slightly. But certainly Mayhew giving it equally as good as he got there.
Well, Lee Klinger more than used to going 4 2-minute rounds, so this distance-wise, an easy night's work for the man in blue. Certainly fitness was an issue for him at points last year, but really whipped himself into shape, but now no longer a man that worries about going the distance at a pace as well. Just receiving his instructions from his corner. He's caught a couple of times, Lee Klinger, although he was largely dominant in the opening round. We'll see how this next 2 minutes develop. First, bell goes there for the second round. Klinger just throws a jab out to the body, misses that time. Again, Mayhew just pouring that jab out, trying to find his range, keeping the right glove high up by the chin. Wary of that long left hook that Klinger throws, bang on cue. It's well blocked by Mayhew. Not an easy one this for Klinger. Mayhew providing an awkward target, good defence, good footwork. Now Klinger pops the jab forward, and Mayhew using the full width of the ring all the way around the outside, and you really have to against an opponent like Lee Klinger, who pops a right hand straight through the guard there. And as you see with the slightly more advanced fighters, as you go up the white-collar boxing ranks, it's clinical precision and punch power and accuracy that is the mark of a more experienced fighter. You see there Lee Klinger popping into range, getting his shots off, and then coming straight out again, and really easy work that to score for the judges. Again, the output from Klinger just negating any forward momentum from Mayhew, not able to get himself in a rhythm. And again, Klinger comes forward, lands a 1-2. And every time Mayhew even steps into range and thinks about throwing a shot, Klinger's there to meet him with both left and right, snapping that jab out again, keeping Mayhew at range. I think the man in red starting to become a little bit overmatched here. Well, becoming a bit of a boxing lesson that from Lee Klinger. Jordan Mayhew struggling as that round progressed, Matthew.
Yeah, and again, like we were saying earlier, I think you can really start to see fatigue just creeping in at the end of that second round.
So third and final round coming up. You would think, bar anything going drastically wrong for Lee Klinger, but he's got this one in the bag. So I'm sure that the advice he'll be getting in the corner will be some out to box sensibly, don't take any stupid risks. As we saw in the first round, Mayhew did land a couple of nice shots and did put Klinger off balance on a couple of occasions, so perhaps has got the power to trouble him. So Lee Klinger will be keeping this one at range, and you would think not taking too many risks, but then again he is the gunslinger. So
Third and final round.
See Klinger just textbook pouring the left jab of Mayhew away with his right hand, which opens up a gap of his own. Nice jab again from Klinger. Really has got the reach of somebody way, way above his weight division. With a jab as accurate and fast as that, really does make getting inside and landing any shots on him a tall order indeed, and one that Jordan Mayhew has struggled with all night long. And great right hand off the back of that from Klinger. And now just moving away, knows he's done enough here.
Fantastic power from Klinger on those jabs as well.
It is, and it certainly made Mayhew think twice about coming forward, which he did fairly freely in the first minute or so of the fight, but far, far more reticent as it's progressed. And as you say, a real result of Klinger's power and the accuracy with which he's landing these shots. It's just whether or not Mayhew can bring himself to bite down on that gum shield and just go for it and put up one last stand in the final 30 seconds. Easier said than done, though. They say in boxing, a good jab sets up everything. And it really has been Lee Klinger's best weapon tonight. He's kept his opponent at range, done some damage, scored points with it all night long, and I think we're in absolutely no doubt there as to who's been the winner. Lee Klinger, an easy night's work for him, and yet again, technically a very, very good display indeed.
Very good display. And again, as we always say, fantastic display of sportsmanship as well, which is exactly what white collar boxing is all about.
Absolutely, we've had the knockouts, we've had the thrills and spills, but as Lee Klinger has proved, a lot of technically proficient fighters out there. Great to see some of the best skills that we've seen on display so far this evening. We'll wait for the judges, the referee and Peter Lowe to announce our official result.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for both boxers after 3 excellent rounds. And after those 3 highly skilled rounds of action, the referee has scored this contest 30 points to 27 points in favour of your winner. Fighting out of the blue corner, Lee
So Lee Klinger comfortably continuing his big winning streak and enhancing his reputation right across white collar boxing circles. Become a formidable name across the sport, and we'll be seeing plenty more of him. Standing by to talk to him is Matthew Walker.
All right, Lee, first of all, as always, massive congratulations. How was that?
Good. Went to plan, won every round. Went good. Can't party now.
Do you know what? I'll tell you what, that is some reach you've got on you. I thought you were going to swing your opponents from across the ring.
Yeah, I've got long arms. I thank God for them.
And listen, we were just saying that there's a fabulous technique as well, which really kept you pacing through that fight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, please give a massive round of applause to both fighters this evening. Our winner, Lee Gunslinger Klinger, and tonight's runner-up, Jordan Dark Horse Mayhew.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the red corner from East London, George
Man who's practiced martial arts for several years, but only on a recreational basis. Said due to his poor fitness, took up boxing 10 months ago. Wishes that he took up the sport many years earlier, and I think that would reflect the comments of many of the fighters who enter the training camps of just how much it changes their lives in terms of the fitness. One of the boxers we'll see a bit later tonight, Obi Farouk, mentioned that he's even performing better at work as a result of the regular exercise and the rigours that they're put through in training. Really, really great to hear, and good luck to Narsmore Hussain. Well, what a night we've had so far. Feels and spills. What's been your highlight, Matthew, so far?
Well, we've had a few tonight. We've spoiled the choice really this evening.
Personally, for me, I really enjoyed the display that Lee Klinger put on. Great boxing masterclass and exactly how it should be done.
Red corner, he's from Limehouse in East London. Please welcome Nod, and across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, he's from Chingford. Please welcome Amir
Amir Blazing Subtle, that's got to be contender for nickname of the evening. Said lives with his wife in Chingford. Said he was born 31 years ago and been in denial for the past 13. Regularly lives out of his comfort zone. Exercise and sports are his outlets. Although, he says, he's a geek at heart most days. Well, good luck to Amir tonight. Amir Subtle in the blue corner. And Nod Hussain in the red. Once again, 3 2-minute rounds. And the bell for the first round has sounded.
This looks like a livelier first straight from there.
Certainly does as well. And Nod Hussain there, first to get off. And stamp his mark on the fight. What can Subtle do in response? Nice jab to the body, followed by a long left hook for Hussain there. Although Subtle not lacking hand speed and certainly darting in and out of range, they do say that timing beats speed, and at the moment, Nod Hussain for me has got the better timing of the two men. He's landing more clean shots as a result. A good start for the man in red. Again, Hussain just going for that jab to the body, followed by the long left hook. Jabbing to the body, bringing that guard down. Switching it up from high and low.
Again, it's what we were saying earlier, it's just taking that brief moment just to eye up your opponent. Just take your time, not dive in too quickly, and it really can make all the difference.
And good to see a bit of space between them and not smothering each other's work. Hussain there, putting an exclamation mark on a very strong opening round right on the belt. Subtle in the blue's got a little bit of work to do to get back into this. Nod Hussain, competent start in the first round. You see there, quite clearly the referee has ruled that a slip as the legs of Hussain just went from under him. I think the legs got tangled up a little bit there, and although it can sometimes look from further afield in the crowd like a knockdown. I can assure you that it's just a loss of footing, and so they continue. But Amir Suddle has suddenly found a second wind and fancies his chances in this. Nice left hook, right hand from Hussein. Jab to the body from Suddle, then to the head. He looks to cap off this round conclusively. You never know, he might sneak it on the judges' scorecards, and then it makes the final round very interesting indeed. But Nod Hussein determined for that not to be the case, and lands two straight left-right hands as we close. So very, very good round. Much better from Suddle, but Hussein finished strongly. Starting to get really lively in here, as is the action. Third and final round between Nod Hussein in the red and Amir Suddle in the blue. And interestingly, both men not really showing very many signs of fatigue, so two fit competitors in there. Nice left hook from Suddle. A real rally from Amir Suddle. This is impressive. Not to say, suddenly, just in a little spell of trouble, just seeing him look to his cornermen there for some advice. And that's a signal that perhaps he's not happy in there. He's been caught with a couple of good shots. He's been made to feel a little bit uncomfortable in the last 30 seconds or so. And whether Suddle can really press the issue, put some more pressure on him. He walks forward again. He's clubbed Hussein on the left side of the head. The right side of the head with the left hand, shall I say.
Again, as you were saying earlier, I think a fabulous example of the crowd really giving the fighter a lift as well. You can probably hear the crowd are absolutely well and truly behind both of these fighters tonight.
And we're, what, only a few inches from each other. I can barely hear you speak, let alone hear my own voice. And as I say, testament to, as always, a fabulous crowd here. Amir Suddle giving them something to cheer about. Right on the bell, good exchange from both men, and they hug in the centre of the ring. Going to be a close one, this. the late rally from Amir Suddle had been enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for both fighters over 370 And after those 3 rounds of action, your referee has scored this contest 30 points to 28 points in favour of your winner, fighting under the red corner.
As we mentioned, a spirited rally from Amir Suddle, but just not enough to negate good early work from Noj Hussain. He's technically certainly the better man early on, and only really lost his way marginally towards the end of the fight. Would have been interesting to see how the fight would have progressed if it was fought over maybe 5 rounds, but 3-round format favouring the man in red, who's now standing by with Matthew Walker.
As always, massive congratulations. How did that feel?
It feels wonderful. It's been really hard work, the training program, the fitness training. But when you come in that ring, that's what matters, whether winning or losing. So big up to Amir for coming to the ring. And to be honest, I'm so overwhelmed. Thank you for everyone that came to support me. Special thank you, Jack, Mark and Patrick for getting me into boxing. Thank you, bye.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's winner, Mr. Noj Hussain. And please show your appreciation for tonight's winners of Amir Suddle.
For our next bout of the evening, please welcome to the red corner from Enfield, North London, Mark Manson.
Great action so far here at White Collar Boxing London. Remember to check out the website www.whitecollarboxinglondon.com, Facebook at White Collar Boxing London, or you can get in touch with us on Twitter as well at WCB London, all uppercase.
And now please welcome to the blue corner from Byfleet in Surrey, Stuart.
In the blue corner, Stuart Lamming, managing director on a small building company in Surrey. An avid QPR fan as well. Says he really enjoys spending time with friends and family. Who goes in the blue corner tonight? It's a return performance for big Stuart Lamming in the blue corner, and tonight He faces the prospect of 3 rounds against Mark Mansell in the red. A determined look on the face of the man who calls himself the Laminator. Why are you laughing?
So I just missed. I missed the. I missed that nickname, the Laminator.
Alex Lamin, the Laminator. Is that not scary enough for you? Covering paper in thin sheets of plastic.
Is the Laminator your nickname, or is that his nickname?
That's his nickname, not my nickname. No, no. I'm Lightning Lloyd. Well, action underway at a frantic pace. Mark Mansell in the red, Stuart Lamin in the blue, and both men wasting absolutely no time. Mansell comes forward, but Lamin already landed some nice shots to the body. Sat jab out through the middle of the guard. Nice right over the top, then a right hook to the ribs from Lamin. And Mark Mansell sort of rabbit punching a bit here, coming forward, throwing multiple shots, but really could do with measuring his approach a little bit more. Both men yet to take any sort of break. And we're already 53 seconds into the first round, a frantic pace. Now they take a brief respite. Lamin goes to the body. Oh, and a lovely 1-2, rocks back the head of Mark Mansell. He looked dazed and shocked by that. He now retreats into the corner. A clubbing blow from Lamin. 40 seconds left to go in round number 1. An early success for the man in blue. Another clubbing right hand over the top, then a left hook to the body. Lamin proving that he certainly had the edge in power in that first round. What did you make of that, Matthew?
I couldn't agree more. I think you're right. I think the Laminator really stole that first round. Also as well, I take it back about my favourite nickname. The Laminator is by far my favourite nickname of the evening.
What, not Amir Blazing Southall?
No, close, but as you say, the Laminator. Stuck between 2 pieces of plastic. Vacuum packed.
Good early work from Stuart Lamin. Can he maintain the pace through round number 2? Mark Mansell ate some good shots. Second half of round number 1. What can he do by way of response? The 2 men meet in the middle as they did in the first round. Neither really wanting to retreat, and yet again it's Stuart Lamin who gets the best of the exchange, and Mansell muscled to the floor there. No knockdown. Legs of Mark Mansell really stiffened moments before that clubbing right hand landed, and you can see his jelly-legged as he rocks back onto the ropes. The referee will administer a generous standing 8 count. And Mark Mansell will then be made to lift his glove up and step forward and prove to the referee that he's got his wherewithal. He says he's okay to the referee. I'm not so sure. The contest should be continuing. He's on Queer Street, as they say, as Stuart Lamin looking for the early finish. And Mark Mansell's legs, for me, really have gone. He gets another 8 count. Makes it to his feet again, but I think the referee's absolutely right to stop that there. You can see he was in trouble about 10 or so seconds before the first knockdown. Then he went down. He went down a second time moments later. The referee absolutely right to call a halt to proceedings there.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the referee was slightly unsure on the first knockdown. That second one, as you say, absolutely the right call.
And I think right to give him a chance after the first knockdown, because of course these fighters train hard for this, so this is their opportunity. And perhaps Mark Mansell wanted the opportunity to show that he could dig in, and he did try and hang on and give himself a breather, but ultimately just wasn't quite enough. But Stuart Lamming, a very worthy winner indeed.
Yeah, and credit, like you say, to come back from that first knockdown. Shows tremendous courage as well.
Yeah, let's not forget, yeah, he's got up twice, and that's no mean feat in himself. So, well done indeed to Mark Mansell, showing the grit and spirit that really encapsulates white collar boxing.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute and 37 seconds completed of the second round, your referee has stopped the contest, leaving Mark Mansell in no position to continue. Therefore, your winner by TKO, fighting out of the blue corner, from Surrey, Stuart
Another emphatic stoppage victory. Third one or the fourth one tonight. Fair play to Mark Mansell, getting up not once but twice from the canvas. It's called Honour and Glory tonight. Glory goes to Stuart Lamming, but the honour certainly goes to Mark Mansell.
I've got two congratulations. Firstly on the fight, secondly on my favourite nickname by far of the entire evening. Congratulations, how was that?
Brilliant, amazing. Ready to tune now.
In the end, it turned out to be a fantastic performance for yourself.
You're a strong guy, you know. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you ever doubt yourself for any minute?
No, you never doubt yourself. You wouldn't get in there, would you?
Fantastic, and as you say, fantastic performance from both fighters. Stuart, once again, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a massive round of applause for tonight's winner, Stuart Lamming. And show appreciation for the runner-up, Mr. Mark Mansell.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the red corner, from Pimlico in London, Danger Mouse, Chris Anderson!
Danger Mouse, that takes me back to my childhood, one of my favourite cartoons, and the nickname, Chris Anderson, 32 years of age, a huge Chelsea fan. Said he's worked in criminal law for the last 10 years. This is his second white collar fight. He couldn't resist the chance to take some further punishment. Well, good luck to Chris Anderson, and as always, we hope that he can avoid punishment where possible. He starts in the red corner tonight.
Please welcome to the blue corner from Northampton, Paul Clubber Cleary!
So Paul Clubber Cleary enters the ring. It's his first fight, and he's a Spurs fan as well, which means we've got ourselves a bit of a London derby. Yeah, a bit of a London derby in this fight. And don't forget what we were talking about earlier. We're entering the stage now. Don't forget, these lads have been backstage for a good 2 hours now. And to keep yourself ready and fired up for this, it's pretty impressive 2 hours in.
And as we were saying, 2 minutes minutes probably feels like a long time when you're in the ring, but I imagine that 2 hours feels like a lot longer when you're waiting to come out, and it must just be an agonising wait for these chaps.
Yeah, and you can't help it. The adrenaline is pumping from the very first fight, whether you're involved or not, because you've got the crowd in, the atmosphere's buzzing, and then it's human instinct. You will start to dip slightly.
Yeah, it's the peaks and troughs of adrenaline, isn't it? And it's so important to be able to try and maintain control of those peaks and troughs and not have too many ups and downs in those 2 hours, because you don't want to enter the ring with less energy than you would have otherwise. And that is one of the things that Richard Rees, who has fought on this current build over the last couple of weeks for his second contest, said that he'd find the nerves much more manageable after having one fight already, because he knew what to expect, he knew what was coming. So it just made managing those nerves and that whole sort of pre-fight process a lot easier. I think that's perhaps the advantage that we'll see for the man in front of us who's returning for his second fight. He knows what he's up against already. As for our first timer, well, he's a first timer and that says it all. So 3 2-minute rounds. Chris Danger Mouse Anderson in the red corner, the Chelsea fan in red on a rare occasion, and Paul Cleary, the Spurs fan, in the blue. So both a boxing and a football rivalry. And as always, pride at stake. The bell goes for the first round.
A lively affair as well, straight from the off.
Absolutely, lots of bouncing in and out of range. Both men keen to establish themselves. Nice double jab from Paul Cleary. And again, the pattern that tends to develop, the taller man taking more to the centre of the ring and holding his ground easier behind a longer jab. Chris Anderson having to be a little bit more cautious early on, take his time and try and make his way inside the pocket. Nice right hand over the top, he's walked onto a right, thrown well, landed strongly from Paul Cleary.
Again, we've really seen that reach really work to people's advantage tonight. It'd be interesting to see if Cleary can do the same.
It's nice upper body movement from Chris Anderson. Really just slipping those shoulders and that head left and right. But at the moment, he's doing it going backwards. He needs to try and do that going forwards, get past that long jab of Cleary's and start landing shots of his own. But perhaps just using this first round as a feeler. Nice long right hand landed over the top of the jab that time. Just signs that Anderson beginning to find his feet and find his range as well. Again, just see Anderson now, last 30 seconds, just looking for that right hand over the top of the jab. End of round one. So the second round between these two men. The first one developed very interestingly indeed. Paul Cleary establishing a long-rangey jab in the first half of the round. And then Chris Anderson just beginning to time it and find the range with his own counter right hand in the second. So interesting to see who's learnt more from those opening 2 minutes. And again, Anderson's corner imploring him to move his head on the way in. And you can see he just slips to his left, drops that left shoulder and throws the right hand as soon as he feels that Cleary is pouring that jab out. And there it is again, just trying to land that overhand right, but again he's just a little bit short. Also lots of nice, short, sharp bits of lateral movement from Anderson, just keeping Cleary off balance and making it hard for him to time that left hand. It's nice movement again from Anderson. He's just throwing a couple of feints to try and bring Cleary onto that right hand, but Cleary gets through with the left there. One of few cleanly landed punches in this second round. It's been a quiet affair compared to the first.
I think both fighters just sizing each other up a little bit more in this second round, trying to conserve that energy, which could make all the difference in the third as well.
Well, absolutely, especially if neither man's quite sure who's in front. Could see it all left in the ring in the third. Nice right hand landed from Anderson moments ago. It's been the left for Cleary that's been his successor. And it is close. We will go into the final round, not conclusively knowing who's in front. And everything at stake in the final 2 minutes. All to fight for in these last 2 minutes. So Paul Cleary in the blue corner, Chris Anderson in the red, both men having success. Anderson with the right hand, Cleary with the jab. It'll be interesting to see which man the judges have favoured thus far, and even more interesting to see who can conclusively stamp their mark on this third and final round, because it is pivotal. A nice little spell of pressure there from Paul Cleary. Anderson rode it well, comes back with a counter right hand, didn't miss by very much. And as the legs begin to get tired and the feet become flatter, more punches land as a result. That much has been evident all night long, across all of the bouts. And there's the right hand from Anderson. Cleary took it well, comes back with a couple of his own. And as we expected, both men leaving everything out there in this third and final round. Big right hand from Cleary. That's really hurt Anderson. The referee's come in. Will we see a standing 8 count? Yes, we will. You can really see he was hurt there. It really rocked the head back of him with that right hand.
Yeah, he really caught him clean with that one. And you can see pouring with blood from the nose as well.
Timeout after that standing 8 count is called. And Chris Anderson's corner wiping absolute mess of blood. Crowd getting behind Paul Cleary, who quite literally senses blood, and you can see him looking for the big finish, and everything he throws now you feel is going to be thrown with spike. 25 seconds to go in this third and final round. We wondered who would step up and make their mark in this final round. It's been Paul Cleary. It's going to take something very special in this last 10, and Chris Anderson if he's to have any chance of winning this on the scorecards. Pours out that jab. The time ticks away. Yet another fabulous finish to another brilliant and enthralling contest.
Yeah, and again, so nice to see both fighters going up and congratulating one another after a fight like that.
Really, it was pretty close until that big right hand of Paul Cleary's landed. It was just the slight slowing of the pace that offered him the opportunity, because until that point Chris Anderson had been quite fleet-footed. In fact, made himself a very difficult target to land cleanly on, and you say it was just patience from Paul Cleary in the end that he waited, and as the fight went down the stretch and as Anderson started to tire, he was able to land those big thudding shots, and well, the crowd I'm sure will show their appreciation, and they do so, and we'll wait for surely an inevitable result.
Those 3 rounds of action, the referee has scored this contest 30 points to 27 points in favour of the winner. Fighting out of the blue corner, and show your appreciation for a great game winner, Chris Danger Mouse Anderson.
So a great result for Paul Cleary. Standing by is Matthew. We'll have a chat with him now.
Congratulations, that was oh my God. So it was all quite touch and go until the 3rd round there. Did you think you were going to take it with the feeling?
I think they do something in the 3rd round, right? 2nd and 3rd, they speed up a bit.
Yeah, I think it was that one punch in the 3rd that really hit it home for you.
I was pleased with that. It's all right.
Good. Continue to be. Congratulations. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, let's round of applause. The next one, Mr. Cleary. And of course, we appreciate the applause tonight now. Chris Danger Mouse Anderson.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it one more time for our final fight of the evening. Please welcome to the red corner from Cambridge,
Ovi Farouk, 25 years of age, and he's brought a big, strong crowd with him tonight. He's a trader in the city's financial sector. He's a really, truly nice guy. And Matthew, you met him earlier, and something interesting about this particular contest between these 2 men tonight.
Yeah, do you know what a fabulous one to finish on. As you say, I met Ovi just before the fight this evening, and he told me that himself and his opponent, Matt, in the blue corner, actually met on the programme, so they met at White Collar Boxing and have turned out to be very, very good friends.
And interesting you say that. When I was out filming the documentary that you can see online on the White Collar Boxing page, I've actually got the moment that they very first met captured on camera. And they seemed to hit it off straight away, and when I came back to film the 2nd time, they were in each other's company chatting. One of the things that Ovi said to me, he said, I really hope I don't end up fighting one of my friends because I made some good ones, and unfortunately, that is the case. But being two true professionals and nice guys that they are, hopefully they'll be able to put their friendship aside for the next 6 minutes and box as well as they can, and well, you can ensure that there'll be plenty of sportsmanship and no hard feelings at the end of it, which is great, and it's a lovely way to finish off the evening, and we're looking forward to a great fight as well.
Yeah, it's a lovely way to finish the evening. And these 2 guys have supported each other over the last 10 weeks to get to this point, and to end up in the ring together is, it's quite a nice thing, I think, in the end. The respect they have for each other will be the absolute utmost. It should be a great contest.
And across the ring, coming out of the blue corner, he's from Itchin, where he is known as the Atom Man.
Atom Caspel, keen Cambridge United fan, following them home and away, as well as regularly playing football. He's a manager at, he says, an incredibly fun online marketing agency called Atom 42, which is where he gets his nickname from. And it's right here in Camden on the High Street. So 2 local lads. Ovi Farouk lives just a few minutes down the road as well. Both have brought really, really good passes of support. Great way to finish the night. And both men, as we expected, putting friendship aside for these 6 minutes and going straight to work. Caspel winning the early jab exchanges. And Farouk showing some nice head movement on the inside to keep himself out of danger. Good right hand from Farouk lands, and these two really, really going at it. Just what we like to see. And these are 2 men, as we said 10 weeks ago, would you believe, have never so much as laced up a pair of boxing gloves. A truly incredible achievement. Farouk commenting on how the fitness and the training has helped him perform better at work, how it's given him more energy, and just how much fitter he feels. He said the fittest he's ever been in his life, but he did say that his opponent was a fitter man, and so he would try and take his time early on and pick his shots. But having said that, it's been a frantic pace.
I mean, to notice performing better at work is such a great credit to Scott and the guys who run white collar boxing and the training they provide.
And I think it shows that the benefits go beyond the fight night itself, Matthew.
Yeah, totally.
It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah, it really is. And a lot of the fighters said they eat better as a result. They're not drinking as much, they're drinking lots of water. It's great to see.
And deafening crowd responding to a big right hand from Ovi Farouk. And just a brief pause, as I think there was a noise in the crowd that sounded like the bell, and the referee had a look to Peter Lowe ringside, who assured him that he hadn't rung the bell, and so the fight continues as Caspel lands a good flurry on Farouk, who has his head down, rides it out well, and gets a standing 8 count. And Farouk says to the referee, "I'm fine." He was caught pretty clean there. He's going to have to take a couple of deep breaths. Farouk there, swinging with a jab and a right hand, missing there, and Caspel coming forward. Caspel catching Farouk clean on the nose, and a right hand on the sound of the bell, and you'd have to say that with that late flurry, Caspel looks to be ahead here.
Yeah, quite possibly Farouk, as you said earlier, saved by the bell there. He just caught clean with the right there on the nose, as you say.
Alex Lanning in the corner in Ovi Farouk, who wears that familiar smile that we've seen so often. As you say, one of life's really, really nice guys, and came across brilliantly in the documentary, even though he commented that he hated the sound of his own voice. I think that's natural when you first see yourself on TV, isn't it?
Two rounds.
I think the process has clearly meant a great deal to both men, and both looking in tremendous shape. So forward they come. Ovi Farouk just popping the jab out. And a good fast start for the man in red. He's taken Caspel by surprise.
Energy levels in both fighters as well.
Well, they've worked extremely hard over the last 2.5 months. Caspel there landed a big 1-2. Really snapped the head left and right of Farouk, and has shown a good chin to take those, but he's also been caught clean enough and hard enough for the referee to administer a second standing 8 count of the fight. So as it stands, I'd say that Farouk really would need a knockout, at least a knockdown of his own, to bring this fight a little bit closer as Caspel comes forward again. Farouk now looking in real trouble as he backs up, turning away from his man, tries to throw a punch, and coming in, Caspel protesting.
Casper really got the bit between his teeth now as well.
Has indeed, and the referee, sadly for Obi Farouk, has seen enough. It was a valiant effort, but just a sustained period of pressure from Casper. A little bit too much for the man in red. He quite frankly has done himself proud. And has been a great example of what white collar boxing is all about. In fact, both of these men have. It's great that they're both friends and that they've met through this process. Put on a wonderful show to cap off just a brilliant night of action.
Yeah, totally. And as you say, not just these two. Credit to absolutely everybody that stood and got in this ring tonight.
Well, as we mentioned on numerous occasions this evening, many of the fighters that you will have watched in the ring tonight just 10 weeks ago have not such laced a pair of gloves or boots up, yet tonight they've got in the ring and performed in front of the best part of 1,000 people. No mean feat at all. And our thanks go to all of the organisers, but of course the contestants for putting on such a tremendous show. We hope you've enjoyed the DVD. Before we go, Matt Casper will be announced as the winner of the final fight.
And as well, if it is something that you fancy doing, it's very easy to get involved. You can just visit the website, which is www.whitecollarboxinglondon.com. Sign up. It could be you in the ring next time.
Absolutely, what a prospect it is. Hopefully, our contestants tonight will have inspired many people watching at home and here in the arena tonight. A good win for Matt Casper. And Obi Farouk, understandably disappointing.
More tiring than I thought it was going to be, I must admit. I've watched all the guys' boxing styles, which is really great stuff, but it's kind of like, what's wrong with their fitness? What's wrong with their fitness? I've done half of a fight in there, and I'm absolutely not fit.
You know, it's a fantastic effort for both of you. And actually, I spoke to Ollie before you fought this evening, and he tells me you two are really good friends outside of the ring as well.
Yeah, so we met like 10 weeks ago through white collar boxing, and he's just such a lovely bloke. I was gutted when I found out I was supposed to fight him. We were obviously got to see what we're doing. Now we're going to get this.
You know, what a fabulous way for the evening. Two absolutely fabulous sportsmen, two fabulous contestants. Matt, congratulations once again. And not just to these two, a massive congratulations to every single person who's taken part tonight. Please give a massive round of applause for everybody involved this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's coming back to our MC for the evening to wrap things up, boys. Thank you very much tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming out to join us this evening. We'd like to thank everybody involved in the show, from our excellent DJ, our superb medical staff, our awesome official, Mr. Seamus Gunn, the guys that put the ring up, all of our bar staff and security staff, thank you very much. And we'll see you again. Don't forget, if you want to star in the next edition of the WCBL show, then check us out, www.whitecollarboxinglondon.com, and you can be starring in one of our future events. Safe journey home. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Well, many thanks to our MC, Peter Lowe, our great master of ceremonies this evening. It's been another evening that's yet again lived up to all expectations that were set, and it is a bar that gets higher and higher as the series goes on. The first doubleheader of 2015 of White Collar Boxing comes to a close. For myself, Chris Lloyd, Matthew Walker alongside me, thank you for watching. We'll see you at the next one.